Let's spend some time learning the new Strong Workforce Program planning workflow. So you'll see we have a new menu design here on the left. It functions the same as the old menu design. So I'm going to navigate to SWP Regional, click Plans, and then I'll find myself on a familiar looking dashboard. There are some updates, such as displaying the Nova ID, but we'll run through any changes to these items in a future training or video. So I'm going to click Create New Plan. And what I will be doing by clicking Create New Plan as of December 15th, 2020, is I will be creating a plan that is utilizing SWP 2021 siloed dollars. So my funding source will be 2021 for any plans that I click Create New Plan on. Get a modal asking if I'm continuing or creating a brand new plan. I'm going to click Create New Plan. I'll give that a title. I'm going to select my region. I'm going to select my lead institution. And then this is the funding year. So this is no longer the start year of the plan. This is the year for which this project will be funded. Since we're in the first year of this new cycle, the only one that's going to be available to me is 2021. And the number of fiscal years this plan will span. So since these are siloed funds and no longer FIFO funds, I have two options, 1 year or 2 year, depending on my selection above. So as years progress, this list will grow to 2 years. And this will always be 1 or 2 years. So I'm going to click 2 years here. And then we have this question whether this plan is going to include short-term credit, non-credit, or not-for-credit workforce training. And I'm going to click yes, and I'll show you the significance of this selection. So I'm going to click Create New Plan. And here we go. So through the magic of demo, I have seeded a lot of data in this plan to go through just for the speed. So here we are. I am in the Details tab. You'll see that I have some validation here. As always, it says incomplete. So I'll demonstrate how you can get that to go complete in this tab. All of the information I put in that modal is available. And then here's that question that we had. Does it include short-term credit, non-credit, or not-for-credit workforce training? You'll see I have an Employer Partners tab here. If I click no, then I don't need an employer partner. If we are including this training, then we want to identify the employer partner, and we'll run through that step. So that's the significance of that. I also have this error stepper. I'm showing incomplete. I also have 2 errors, and if I click show, it's going to walk me through where my errors are. So there's 1 of 2, and if I click it again, there's 2 of 2. So pretty handy to walk you through if you ever see the incomplete on a tab and you're unsure where you might be missing some information. So let me click both of those. I'm completed currently. I also have this, which is new. This is if this plan is going to target a disproportionately impacted group. This is a multi-select, and I can select my DI group from this list. One or several. Again, that is optional. Okay, so I'm good on the Details tab. I'm going to go to our partner institutions. And so I've got Hartnell here. I've added them already. If I want to add another partner institution, I would click this Add button, and I would get a modal that looks just like this, and I would add them. Pretty simple. If I want to remove, obviously I can click the Remove button. And since we answered yes to that non-credit, not-for-credit question, I'm going to add a employer partner to this plan. So this is workforce training. What type of training will be offered? So this is a narrative field with a 2,500 character limit. And then I'm going to add the employer partner. So I've added Life Chiropractic Hospital here. The narrative field describes why the plan would be valuable to the business and the community. And then a signed verification letter. So this is a letter likely from this institution on their letterhead just stating that they are going to be involved in this plan. And if there are current job vacancies, we can add job vacancy information. So they need a chiropractic technician, and there are 3 jobs currently available. Our program is serving 10. We're going to have a 100% completion rate and hope to place 3 or 30%. I can also add, if there are multiple vacancies available, I can do that by clicking that button. And I can also add multiple employer partners. Moving on to contacts. So contacts for SWP are now in more line with all of the other programs that we have in Nova, if you're familiar with those. These indicate the required contacts, and then there are optional contacts. So I'm not limited to these 4 people. I can continue to add people and give them privileges to edit this plan going forward. So we've got a project lead. That's the person that created the plan for the lead institution. And then for each institution that we add, we need to add a fiscal reporter. This is required. This will give this person permissions to do the fiscal reporting. We can also add additional contacts for each college, giving them the ability to come in here and edit and collaborate. And we can add a read-only contact for our employer partner, Life Chiropractic Hospital, if we choose to do that. So as you can see, we have one missing, the fiscal reporter. So let's do that now. And the fiscal reporter is your local fiscal authority or somebody from the accounting office. This is the person that is going to review the budget and approve the budget aspect of this plan. So let's add that role. We'll see that, okay, all of the required roles have been fulfilled and contacts are completed. And then down below, this is a regional plan. So I have the option to check my regional signing authority or my college signing authority. So I've checked the college signing authority, and then it also displays who my fund monitor is, who is also an approver. Then on to LMI. This is largely unchanged from prior strong workforce process, and there is one change which I will call out here. So I would build out a occupational cluster here, give it a name, identify the SOC codes that go along with it, identify the geography in which this will take place, and then build out individual programs identifying the college and the top code. So based on the top code selected, if it is a health-related top code or likely beginning with the 121 numbers, then this Allied Healthcare tab will pop up. If it's unrelated to health, that tab would not appear. So for this example, I wanted to make sure we were using a health-related top code so I could go through the Allied Healthcare workflow step. So build out my programs. I need to support this program with some evidence, and the evidence types are listed here. So I've uploaded my document. I continue to add documents, and I can also add some supply and demand information. So I've pre-populated this here, but here's what our current supply or demand is. Here's our current supply. And we have a deficit of 66 people for this particular occupation in our region. So again, LMI largely unchanged with the exception of the programs. If a health-related program is selected, we would receive this tab. So this is clinical training site information. I've added Valley Memorial Hospital here. And if I wanted to add a second, I would get this modal. So I would give it a name, provide their license or EIN number, estimated number of participants at that site, and is a degree or certificate available? Yes or no? And if I click yes, we'll ask for some degree certificate top codes. So I can add as many training sites as are necessary. And just a note, reporting on these projects will require information about proficiency of students in languages other than English. Just be aware of that. Then on to our metrics. So our investment plan is a narrative field which we would complete. And then we get into the vision goals and SWP metrics, which is similar to other programs, again, in Nova, if you're familiar with them. So within each vision goal, we would check the ones or one that we are going to try to address. And then within that, we would select the SWP metrics that this plan intends to move the needle on. So I've got a couple of here. We're focusing on workforce with this particular plan. And then down below, you will see this table. It's by college, and it's for the metrics that we've selected that we choose to address for this program. And you'll see that I've got my actuals in here, which go up to the most recent data set that's available in Launchboard. And this data is pulled directly from Launchboard. So for Cabrillo College, I see my actuals, 420, 451, 467, and then I'm asked to put in the target for the 2 years of this plan. If this plan was 1 year duration, I would have a 1 year target here. So I complete all of that information. And again, this comes directly from Launchboard, which is really exciting. This is the first integration that we have with Launchboard, so you're no longer going to be required to go find that information and manually enter it. And just to show you, this is Cabrillo. So you'll see 420, 451, 467, which is exactly what we see here. So you can validate that information if you like through Launchboard, but just rest assured that this is an integration with Launchboard and pulled in to Nova. And this is the first time we're able to do that and utilize that information, which is really exciting. I think we're just scratching the surface of the capabilities here. So once we've completed the goals for each college, for each metric, my tab is complete and I can go on to work plan objectives. Again, work plan objectives aligns very closely to other programs that we have in Nova, if you're familiar with those. So I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to identify the objective type, and this is to bridge the supply-demand gap. And then I have some narratives, a description of the objective, how it will change, how it will address the regional strategic plan, and how it aligns to the regional plan's sector strategy or priorities. Okay, pretty straightforward. And then we get into the activities. Again, very similar to other programs. And what we're going to do for each activity is reference a work plan objective. So I would give this a name and then select the activity that this applies to. So I only created, or I'm sorry, the objective this ties to. I only put in one objective, so my list only has one here, but if you had multiple objectives, there obviously would be multiple in this dropdown. So we're tying our activity back to this objective, providing a description, our proposed completion date. We're also going to trigger the metric that this activity hopes to move the needle on. So I've selected my metric here. And regional priority sector is health. I've identified that. I am the person responsible for this activity. And any dependencies that are necessary, I'm going to detail in this narrative field. I've created a second activity here. Broad-based marketing, increase enrollment in health-related majors is the objective. And for our regional priority or sector, I've identified across all sectors. This is significant, which I'll show in the next step, which is the budget step. But we want to be able to track across all sectors closely. So I've put together my high-level objectives. I've created a lot of activities that tie to those objectives, identifying metrics and priority sectors. And now it's time to budget. So again, I've seeded a lot of information here. We've got our sticky budget card across the top, which you'll see is rolling up the across all sectors budget items. And I also see this, this warning banner that says that I'm over 10% of the total budget for this plan for across all sectors. So let me go down into the budgets, and you'll see that for the 5,000 object code, I've selected broad-based marketing. So if you remember, for broad-based marketing, that is the activity that was for all across all sectors. So one significant change of the new strong workforce is that in the activities, we're identifying sectors, and then in budgets, we're budgeting to the activity. And what that allows us to do is tie investments exactly to sectors. So if legislators need a report to show investments by sector, that is something that we're now able to do with precision, where previously we had to make some assumptions that if there were two sectors on a plan that had $1 million budget, we would have to assume that $500,000 was for one sector and $500,000 was for the other sector. So not precise. So this is a big analytics reporting data gain. And just when you identify the across all sectors, just know that there is a 10% guidance to keep all funds below that 10% as part of the total budget. So if I see that, it's going to roll up. I'll get this warning banner. It is also going to send my monitor an alert, because they're ultimately the person responsible to make sure that their jurisdiction, whether that's the region or the district as a whole, does not exceed the 10% across all sector funds. So my plan is 2 years. I have budgeted out my 2 years here. There's a handy feature where you can copy your budget for the prior year and update it if things are pretty consistent from one year to the next. And if I wanted to add a budget item, I would simply complete this card, tie it to my activity, put in my budget amount. We also are going to identify whether this is a one-time or ongoing. So a subscription to software, a license would be ongoing, and one time could be a CapEx expenditure on something, and then a description. Once the budget is all built out, that's how it will appear. We have a total budget of $337,000 on this project, and then we're able to move on to the forecast. So a quick step which has a pretty good return if you take the time to accurately forecast. So what this does is it gives the monitor and other people involved a forward look into an anticipated expenditure rate. And it also gives some good comparisons between projections, actuals, and those types of things. So for Cabrillo College, for example, a new hire, and it's going to take a few quarters to get that person hired. You may have 0 expenditures, and then in Q3 to Q4, they have spent all of this year's forecast. And same type of scenario maybe for Hartnell College here. And my year 2 forecast could be a little bit different. These appear to be more of a straight line. So accurately completing this, which is cumulative, so it's 25, 50, 75, 100 is the accurate way to complete this, as opposed to 25, 25, 25, provides a lot of valuable data. So if you have 0 expenditures for Q2, maybe you would receive a phone call asking why there have been no expenditures. But if you forecast this, that wouldn't flag a monitor potentially to give you a call. It's like, yeah, we're marketing a new position and we don't anticipate to have that hired until Q3. Okay, so moving on to Success Story. Again, this is in other programs. It's come in very helpful. It provides great stories to be able to share the successes of this program and provide to legislation. So you're encouraged to complete a success story. It can be a personal success story, such as this example. This is an optional step. However, if you open it up and choose to complete it, you will be required to complete all steps. And you can add as many success stories as you like. And then finally, as usual, our preview and submit. So again, I've got the banner. It's just letting me know our budget exceeds 10%. It's not a limiting factor. It's just guidance. And then all of the details. I could bookmark this for easy navigation, as we're aware. I can share this before it's submitted. And as the project lead, I am the only person that will be able to submit. Other roles will be able to collaborate. But once everything looks good, we are going to click the submit button here. Great. So I have set this up to where I'm the approver for everything, and I wanted to point this out, that the approval steps are now hierarchical. So in essence, we want to have local approval before it goes to the monitor. So I am the college authority. So I'm going to click approve. It's also the regional fund monitor, the local fiscal approver would approve. And then the regional fund monitor. The regional fund monitor will receive an email that looks similar to this, which also has this banner. So once both of the local authorities have approved, it will then trigger the monitor for approval. So the monitor would not have the ability to approve prior to the local approval being complete. And once all three have approved, we've captured the name, time, date, and we're done. Thank you very much.